Yvette Rowland with Smart Talking Women, and today I get to talk to the very beautiful and very glamorous and talented boxing promoter Nina Cranstoun. Hello, Nina.
Hello, Yvette. I love the way she's just said beautiful. And I'm sitting next to Yvette. I mean, come on.
Very kind, but you know, when I look at you, you're not screaming boxing promoter to me.
No, right, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But I know you have had many jobs, many jobs before you got to that. Would you like to just tell me a few of the jobs that you've had?
Well, originally my family were actually were all singers, to be honest. And I started singing when I was 13 years old. And that kind of transitioned all the way through till I was like 23. I think the music industry is quite fickle, and my brothers had each other, where I was on my own.
Right.
And yeah, so that singing dream, you know, it's always like 1 out of a million gets signed and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So I kind of done a lot of work with that. I was in a girl band, believe it or not. Trying to
How did that go?
That went really, really well. I mean, we got signed, but then unfortunately the record company went under. And I was signed to Kelly Bryan, who's one of the Loose Women, and she's on Hollyoaks.
Yes,
she was my manager for quite a while. Yeah, so we had that, and then it all kind of fizzled out, and I started doing other bits and pieces. But when I was 18 as well, I'd done some backing singing for Tina Turner as well.
No, I'm going to have to stop you there.
Yeah.
Backing singing for Tina Turner.
Yeah,
almost dismissed the way she said it. How on earth did you get to that?
Well, oh God, I mean, that's a really deep story actually, but if we'll touch on that later. But yeah, my next door neighbour, when I was growing up as a kid, I remember this story. They used to look after me, and the lady was called Pat, and the husband was called Graham. And we used to go around, and I remember being in their house, and I can't remember, I was about 4 or 5, maybe, I can't remember the age, maybe 6, don't quote me on the age. And I remember seeing her on the telly at the age of this age, roughly, and they were babysitting me, and she was on top of the pops singing What's Love Got to Do With It. Yeah. But Pat was really encouraging me to sing, so I was literally doing the whole, you know, what's love got to do, you know, all the movements, right, at 6 years old. I'll never forget it. I'll even tell you the carpet, the layout of the house. And my brother later on was started to singing and songwriting, and my mum and dad said, why don't you send it to Graham? I said, we sent it to the babysitter for, do you know what I mean? Not being funny. And it turned out that he actually wrote What's Love Got to Do With It, and that was when it got into #1 in the charts, and I was with them at the time, yeah. And then they found out that I could sing through Simon, and then he asked me to do a couple of session singings for Tina Turner when I was 18, yeah. I mean, walking into his house and seeing all these, you know, gold records on the wall, I was like, this is my babysitter's house? So yeah, it was quite cool, and he'd done obviously Michael Jackson, Good Friends and stuff like that, so yeah.
How nerve-wracking was that?
It was really nerve-wracking, but obviously I recognised Graham, and it was just like, you know, being back to seeing the neighbours. Do you know what I mean? It's a crazy story, but yeah.
That was meant though, wasn't it? Because, I mean, that's fated. I mean, how many people could say that?
No, and that's what pushed me to keep going with the singing, and I got into the girl groups with Kelly Bryan, and obviously that fizzled out, and then the thing was, I had a boyfriend that turned around and said, you're not earning any money, you're not earning any money, and kept going on. So yeah, because obviously the record industry, you know, you kind of having to just keep ploughing on, and you don't get paid for...
It's tough, and especially for women as well.
Yeah, you don't get paid for it, so it's just like, I might as well give it up now. So I did, and I went on to have a cab office with my parents. I had a beauty salon, a nightclub, a pub, loads of stuff, and then everyone was going, Nina, why don't you just go back to singing? And I thought, I'm not really feeling it.
No?
No, and then someone said to me, look, we're going to a boxing show. And I was like, boxing show? Like, absolutely cacking myself. Come on, not being funny, but who wants to go to a boxing show? And I was like, okay, I'll go. Walked in and I was like, oh my God. And it was, I think it was when they done Snatch that day. They filmed it down at Caesars, didn't they, Liam?
Yeah,
they did. And that day they said to me, you know, she sings, do you want to get up and sing? I was like, I'm not singing in front of all these burly men, come on. They're like, no, come on, sing. And I ended up singing Shaka Khan. What's that one, Shaka Khan? I can't remember.
Feel for you. Don't ask me to sing, I'm not singing.
No, what's the other one? We'll get there in the end.
Feel for you, was it?
No, it wasn't Feel for You, it was, I can't remember the other one. Anyway, so I ended up singing that, and people actually thought, give myself a bit of a jab, and I don't mean to, but it was actually the actual song playing until they realised that I was walking in the ring and I was singing it. So that's when I kind of got into the whole boxing promoting.
Right.
From that moment, yeah. It went the other way. So singing went backflip, yeah.
So how did you go from that though to wanting to put on your own I mean,
oh, that's another story.
I mean, can you remember? I was going to say, do you remember? This is a stupid question, but
Yeah.
what was it? What was it like the first time you had to put on a boxing show, and what was it like thinking, are the audience going to show up? Is anybody?
Oh, the first show I did.
Yeah.
So obviously I learnt through an ex-boyfriend through about boxing promoting, and
Right.
obviously we went our separate ways. It wasn't really a great relationship, and I got a manager in to help me promote his boxing shows.
Right.
And then he got a bit lazy with it, and I just ended up doing it by himself. He couldn't work a computer or Facebook back then, so I ended up doing it all. My dad was a promoter, so it came quite easily for me to do the promotional side, social media. And then we broke up, and I thought, do you know what? I've been through my marriage, and I didn't bring up my marriage, by the way. My marriage before, and my ex-husband took everything from me. He took all my houses and took everything. So this relationship, it was a bit of a rocky, pretty bad relationship, and I thought, you know, I've devoted a year of my life to this boxing. I'm going to try and do it by myself.
Right.
And I think in the relationship, it was very, very volatile, and it broke me in a lot of ways. And I think it's about time, you know, you kind of stood up for yourself as a person. I said, you do what you want to do. I'm going to do my own boxing show. And I booked the Troxy. I booked the Troxy on the 9th of December, 2009. And he went and booked the Watford one the same day. And I was absolutely cacking myself. And I was thinking, look, he's quite a big promoter, I'm not.
Right.
And my friends all rallied round and we got the matches done. And I'd lied, by the way. I didn't tell anyone that Nina, the Touch Glove Promotions, was a female, by the way.
Right.
No one knew it was a female.
So
they all thought it was a guy that was dealing with Touch Glove. It was Bill, by the way.
Okay.
Bill run Touch Glove Promotions. I lied about it because I was told by other people that women wouldn't succeed.
Right.
So I kept this going, and when the boxers came to get the tickets, it was Nina was picking up tickets. Where's Bill? Bill's out.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah. So it was quite a hairy time, and I was obviously lying to the boxers a little bit. Not all of them. I think a few of them knew, but I kind of kept it away from social media. That it was kind of my show.
Right.
Didn't ram it down everyone's throat. It was my show, and I remember it honestly. Yvette, honestly, I swear to God, it was the most terrifying time of my life. Like, I swear to God, the Troxy's not a small venue.
No, I know.
And I don't know what possessed me to pick that venue. And I found everyone, and I got everything done and rallied round. And I remember being at the back, and I said to my friend Roxy, I said, is anyone there? She went, there's a few people. And I remember thinking, a few?
What's a few?
This sounds 4,000. Do you know what I mean? You mean there's about 3 people out? Well, my mum, my dad, and my cousins. So I was thinking, oh God. And that particular day I found out that my ex had pulled the show. So I was thinking, I wasn't gloating, I was thinking, oh God, if he can't pull this show off, I'm not going to pull it off. And you can see me now in my hairs. I'm like, oh, petrified. Didn't even cover it. So I was like, Jesus Christ. And I remember coming down, so if you go into the Troxy, you come out these double doors and it walks down into the main bit. And I remember walking out and it was packed. Absolutely packed.
How did that feel?
I swear to God,
relief,
it was a
obviously.
relief, but it was a bit of a, done it, I've done it. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, what? And the mad thing was, Frank Warren had his St George's Day special that year, and it outsold Frank Warren.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't believe it. They told me the manager, and I was like, this, you're joking me. So all the fights went on, but I remember there's an interview. I'm a bit drunk, by the way, and I did drink, but I had to have a drink to celebrate this whole thing. It was like, you know, victory, that kind of thing. And I went up to Julius Francis and I said to him, this on YouTube, and I said to him, how do you feel about tonight? He went, it was a brilliant night. And I said, I've got the mic. I went, how do you feel you got put together by a woman? He went, you can see his face, he went, it's what? Because everyone didn't know it was me. He went, it's what? I went, put together by a woman. He went, who? And I went, me. And you can see it on YouTube. It's absolutely classic. And he's looking at me and he's like, shut up. That was the first time.
How did they feel though? Because not only had it been done by a woman, it was a huge success, and not only that, you outsold the other show, and then you announce in front of them.
Yeah, I was just
by the way, it was me all along.
Yeah. It was absolutely crazy. I mean, honest to God, if you ever, I always say to anyone, don't give up. Don't listen to people because you're never going to know the outcome unless you try. That's a fact, you know. So for me, it was like, I've just gone and cracked it. And then, obviously, mate, I've gone home. I swear to God, I remember going home and I was pacing up and down. I was in my cousin's house and she went, let's go and have a look on social media, because everyone's on social media and they give you a review. And I went, I can't go look on social media, I can't. She said, Nina, stop being stupid. And the review, oh my God, cracking night, everyone commenting underneath the pictures. And listen to this. So I've got home and I'm like, yes, brilliant. Didn't realise I'd earned some money. Oh, I had completely gone over my head. That wasn't the main objective. Wasn't even about the money. And I'm thinking, oh my God, the money.
So who's counting the money back at the...
My mum had the money. My mum's giving me the money. I've completely... So she's gone. Right. She's handing me the money. I've jumped in my car. Right? But that wasn't about the money. So I'm sitting in my flat having a little celebration. Oh, I've cracked it. Oh, I've cracked... Look to the bag. In the bag's the money. So I went, hold on a minute. A double whammy. And this is no lie. You got to remember, you hear the story of how I got into this whole boxing thing, right? I'm cutting it very, very short. It sounds a bit big-headed, but when you take victory by the horns, you got a victory party like it's 1999. Got the money, threw it on bed and started doing stars. Gospel truth by myself, going yes. I think my neighbour's fault. She's having one. She's having another one of her episodes. Yeah, so that was the added bonus, but that's never been the main thing for me. Yeah, no.
So because it was such a huge success, did you find that it was easier as time went on to put the next show on, and people knew it was Nina that was putting the show on? Or,
yeah.
Because it's such a man's world, right? Was there any of the boxers thinking, I don't really want to work for Nina?
Yeah, you still had that whole stigma, and then I gave myself a challenge, and the next show I did was I thought I was going to do a celebrity bout, Rise of the Foot Soldier versus Football Factory. Right. And this is where, as you said, you went to Google and you see pictures everywhere. So the boxing industry still, it was kind of like underground that I was still doing it. Obviously people started to trickle out that it was me that did it from that first show, and then I did the Colton Leach show. And I remember being at Barry Silkman's house, and it was me, Colton, and someone else was there. We were all sitting around and we wanted to get it in the papers. So Barry Silkman's got a lot of contacts within media. And he spoke to his friend Paul, and they were like, yeah, he said, speak to Nina, this is a promoter. He went, look, he said, tell me about it. I said, well, look, we're doing this thing, Rise of the Foot Soldier versus Football Factory, doing it for charity, da-da-da. Now, bear this in mind, folks, when you've got a blower in your hand, you're listening, right? You're thinking you're talking to a broken-nosed, tattooed, well, I've got tattoos, but you do think burly bulldog. When you hear this voice, you can't help but stigma that, can't you? Yeah, I'm not being funny, we all do. And I'm putting the accent on right strong, and I'm like, yeah, boxing promoter, Colton Leach, I'm playing it like a right Danny Dyer down the phone. So he's gone, right, okay, yeah, well, I'm not sure we'll be able to run it. I'm not sure if we can. He said, but I'll see what I can do. So I said, right, cool. He said, look, can you send me over a thumbnail picture of you? And obviously with Colton, I said, yeah, not a problem. Now, if you ask me to do something of it, I'll grab my phone, I'll do it straight away. Right. I won't even think. So I got the email, BlackBerry's gone, sent some pictures over. I remember walking out of Barry Silkman's lounge, walking around the corner, going into the kitchen, coming back, the phone's rung. It's Paul, he's gone, Barry, just looking at these pictures that you've sent me, he said, the boxing promoter, he said, this girl, have you sent me a wrong picture of the wrong girl? And I'm like, he said, no, Barry said, no, that's her. He went, Jesus Christ. He went, well, I actually would like to do a spin-off story because she doesn't look like she sounds. Well, we only made the centre page of the Mirror Easter special, didn't we? Ah, because it was a bird, so it's the old girl card. So that's when I started to think, hold on a minute,
you can get publicity through this.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was trying to hide it, when really my ace card was the fact I was a female.
Because I've seen those bikini shots and that, and God didn't give you those looks for you to sit at home in a onesie, did he, Nina?
Well, I do love a onesie though. I ain't gonna lie, yeah.
But I've seen you in a onesie with your mum and dad as well, and that's quite a treat.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So tell me, with that celebrity bout, how did that go? How was that to promote? I mean, that must have been easy to promote because of all the names involved.
No? It was hard. It was harder to... you've got people... hello, I'm going to do a fight with Colton Leach. Who am I getting to fight? Going through people, trying to think of people that actually take the fight. And then it was Tony Denham. So it was like, right, okay, heavyweights. Now, how are we going to promote it? And it was like, going up to random strangers. Like, obviously, you've got to remember they're in the movie. Yeah. You've got the Rise of the Foot Soldier. Then you've got the Football Factory. We had to give a bit of hype. So I was gate crashing film sets where I knew who people were. Listen, when I go to promote something like that, you've got to go full hog. So if I knew someone like, Danny Dyer was down at the film set, I'd gate crash the film set and I'd be like, Dan, get interviewed quick. We're on a flip thing, doing little videos. So then we get so when we got Danny Dyer, the ace card, then everyone started to fall in line doing the interviews.
Yes, getting the first one.
Yeah. We did some crazy stuff to get some interviews, man. Some really crazy things, like blagged it press. Like, honest to God, we've done some really crazy things back then. But we had to. Also, I had to look after both the fighters, like I do with most of my fighters. But Colton was at the Peacock, but I felt like he wasn't giving it his full potential. But how can you tell Carlton Leach you're not doing it full potential? You know, it's down to the people when they get in the ring. It's up to you. I can only give you the tools to get and promote you as much as I possibly can. When you got your own trainer, that was it.
Did he have his own trainer?
No, he had everything. He had a trainer. He had a squad.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you'd walk in. You see Tony Denham down at his gym in Bexley Heath. Just Tony. You go into Colton the Peacock. There's about 20 of them all sitting round. But yeah, I mean, you know, so it was the whole build-up was trying to push the press as massively as we possibly can, because it was the first real one. I think Ricky Gervais did one, didn't he, years ago in a head guard. But it was the first real one where everyone was kind of like, what's going on? So it was two films versus each other. But then the mad thing was, once you started putting it out there on the internet, people, obviously, like anything else, they're looking for more things, more things.
And you've got to keep feeding that.
Well. I mean, I didn't get any sleep. I literally was going to have a nervous break. That's how bad it became, because trying to manage them two, and I had all my undercard fights, because I was trying to give my boys an opportunity.
Exactly. Perfect opportunity as well.
Great opportunity. Yeah. So I literally wasn't sleeping. I'd be at Peacock Gym, and I'd drive here, then I'd drive there. I was handing out flyers outside nightclubs. I mean, I was doing everything. And I remember saying to I had a girl worker, I said, I can't handle it, I need a break. So I started off to Bournemouth for 3 days. Come back, right as rain, fight fit, carried on. And it was a bloody good promotions, really, really good promotions. Raised quite a bit of money for charity. I mean, the boys did what they could in the ring. That's all I can say about that.
That was a bit quick. We had a big build-up, and
they did all right, but it was a great promotion.
There was the promotion. That's what it's about.
Well, that's what I do. Yeah. So
exactly.
Did I promote well? Yes. Was the fight a good fight? You could be the judge.
Mind you, got masses of publicity, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. I mean, that was the thing. I mean, obviously, I didn't realise that the spin, as I said, it was because I was a female, and the thing that I've been shying away from.
Yeah.
Where I've been told previously, you need to F off back to the kitchen, you're making boxing a mockery. I was told that 2 or 3 months before my first ever boxing bout. You know, that kind of gets drilled in your head. So then when I done the Colton Leach fight, and the press were like, holy crap, this is different. And then obviously I got the name, the first independent female, big long winded name, first independent female boxing promoter in the world.
That's going to sit nicely on a tag, isn't it?
Yeah, just a big long sign. And then we get a badge, a big badge going across here. We also say Yvette, press, mine's going to first independent female boxing in the world. But and that was what I was classed at, because I wasn't affiliated with anyone. And then
But when you got to that, you must have had jealousy, because the moment that you know, the thing that male promoters can't beat is they're not female. So therefore they can't, because you're getting all this publicity because you're female, you must have got jealousy because you are getting publicity.
I'm going to be honest with you, though this sounds a bit sexist, I don't mean it to be sexist at all. I don't think men have jealousy like women do.
Right.
I just generally don't. This is what I'm saying from my personal experience. I think we're both women, we always look over the other side of the fence. We're never the types of people that give someone a G up all the time. We can be, oh, look at her, what's she wearing? Oh, we're so critical.
Yeah.
With guys, they're kind of a little bit more laid back about it, and they might say things before. And the beautiful thing is, Yvette, I'll tell you this one thing I always say: my haters become fans. The men actually became fans of me.
Really?
Yeah. They were humble about it, but I did myself. It's like any real man that gets into a fight will shake hands with a man. If they lose, shake hands, man, and that's it done.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. Whereas a woman can hold.
Just keep it spiraling on a little bit, and I'm not being funny. My boxing promoting the first one, I won the fight in that situation.
Yeah.
And then it started to unravel. Then when I did the Colton Leach fight, it was more the people that had always said that I was never going to make it became, I wouldn't say fans, but they buy tickets for the show. So. Yeah, it was never real much jealousy, no.
So when you went on from there and you've got all these boxers to look after, what I've noticed is that you do sort of mother. You're like a mother hen. I mean, so completely opposite to the persona. You suddenly are like their mother.
Yeah.
So you are checking up on the internet to see what they're doing, what time they're on the social media. Are they, you know?
Yeah, I do all that.
Do you?
I know, I'm like a stalker. Oh, needs promotion, stalking. Hashtag stalking me.
Nina knows at 3 o'clock this morning.
Yeah,
pictures of me.
I do that. I do. If it's a big fight, I do check on. You know, it says online. Yeah, I do all that because you know, when you start getting a little bit away with yourself, you've got to remember this is a fight. So yeah, I do get a bit too involved, but you know, it's only for the best anyway.
But you get involved with everything because I know you've got your own camera crew that are following you.
Oh right,
when you're being filmed doing that.
Yeah.
But you are, I mean, even to, you know, you've got the venue, you're dressing the venue, you like the glitz, you like the you know, I'd imagine for you, because it's a show, you're putting on a show.
Yeah, yes.
So you're putting on the whole, and the show has to have an ambience to it, it has to have a feel to it, and you want people to feel good. So they're not just there to watch the boxing, it's a whole experience.
100%.
Yeah, is what you're doing.
You've hit the nail on the head. Yeah, this is the thing.
That's exhausting.
Very exhausting.
Yeah.
But I think I think outside the box, and you know, boxing promoters put on a show, match the shows, and it's done.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm from an era of when you used to watch Frank Bruno, you see people in dicky bow ties around the ring, women used to come in their glamorous dresses.
Yeah.
Boxing was a real glamorous thing, and it used to be on free on ITV, and we used to, the people that couldn't afford, used to watch it. I remember sitting there watching Frank Bruno as a kid, lying on the floor on the carpet, and I remember seeing all these glamorous women. If I'm paying £50 a ticket and my mate fights, £50 average ticket sale, I want to see a little bit more than just my mate knocking someone out or my mate having a 3-round bout or slugging. I want to see a show. Yeah. You know, and now this is what amazes me about the big Wembley, people paying hundreds of pounds for tickets and there's nothing going on. Yeah. And they're standing around, going having a drink, coming back. There's no show.
It's like you're in a big warehouse, isn't it? You could be anywhere, couldn't you? You could be anywhere. But with yours, there is a feel to it, and it's like a whole theatre production going on.
Yeah, it has to be a show. I mean, it's a boxing show. And what you got to understand is, if you're a paying punter and someone says, oh, say Aaron's fighting on John's promotions, and then go, you know, Simon's fighting on Nina's promotion, they go, but I paid £50 to see that fight, and I know I'm getting more for my money. I'd rather go to a Nina's show than Aaron's show because I was a bit bored. Yeah. A lot of people are sitting, I've been to boxing, I'll sit there bored, waiting around for people to fight. If you're paying that money, then you want to walk in the door, be wowed, get over that, sit down and watch every bout and get to know every bout. Yeah. You know, and see some really good bouts, not just that one. And then have a little bit of glamour and glitz. I'm not saying we dress up with fans everywhere in casinos, but that'd be bloody nice.
But I like the touches of just the way it's dressed, because it is like a show. Yeah. So that, I mean, to take control of all of that, Nina, I mean, it is exhausting. So how do you switch off? And also, as you're looking, I'm going to 2 questions here, but Nina can do it if anyone can. And not just switch off, right? But who do you go to? Because your boxers can talk to you if they're having problems, because I'd imagine that their personal life interferes a lot of times with their boxing, so somebody's got to pick them back up mentally, emotionally. Yeah. That's probably you. Yeah. But who's doing it for Nina?
First question, you've got to remember, when you get a boxer, the trainer can show him how to box. I can't. But say, for example, a boxer has a row with his girlfriend a week before, and the girlfriend's playing games with him, right? Then he's mentally, he won't be able to win. Yeah. You have to be mentally ready and physically ready. So I would rather be there saying, listen, mate, give me the right to, listen, just calm yourself down, everything's so well. I'll do anything I possibly can, not to get him in the ring, but to just get rid of that mindset or that negativity. Because if that negativity is there when they walk in that ring, they're going to lose a fight. Right? So it's about being on the phone. Yeah, it is a bit draining sometimes, but I'm not moaning about it. Sorry. I do love you, my boys. Yeah, I just think that you've got to be mentally, when it comes up to a fight, these boys are in training camps. They don't need any more issues. We all have natural drama. Someone passes away or we can't pay a bill. That's natural drama. When you've got unnatural drama, where someone's arguing with you and poking the bear, let's try and iron that out for you. And that's what I'll try and do. And it doesn't matter if you're fighting or not. Actually, to be fair, I've actually been there when boys haven't had fights. But yeah, so that's what, I'm a bit of a counsellor to them, yeah. But who do I go to? Yeah. No one. So simply said, no one.
No one. So, because you have had a lot of personal problems. Yeah. A lot of, you've had a family tragedy. I know that you're close to your parents. But I mean, you have had a lot on your plate that probably the Nina that we all see that is out there with showbiz, jazz hands, you know, come to me, I'll take your problems off you. You've got a hell of a lot underneath going on, which is normally the way, isn't it? The person that can help you and is the good listening ear is normally the person who's gone through a lot, which is why they are the good listening ear, because they have that life experience.
Exactly, you just said it.
Yeah, and that life experience, you can't put a price on it.
Exactly, yeah. I think there's probably one thing you've reached as well is I kind of get a little bit sick and tired, no disrespect, to all these people saying, I'm a qualified life coach. How can you be how can you be a qualified life coach when you ain't left your couch, right? You need to be living a life to give advice, right? It's all very well people talk about, you know, your brain has to be in a positive pace and all. Yeah, but you've got to get that person out of those traumas before they start to think about a positive place, as in that level. There's levels of, we could call it depression, we could call it mindsets, but we all have to get out of it somehow. And with me, I think that I've never gone to anybody, purely for the fact when I was growing up, I'm very close to my parents, but we weren't really a family that spoke about problems.
Right. And
if we did talk about problems, it became like a bit of a, I don't know how to put it, not depressing, but it was like, oh, not another problem. Do you understand what I mean? My dad's very much like, oh, not another problem.
I do understand that.
That's not.
So you know from a very young age that you don't.
Yeah, you don't. And that is that generation.
Yeah.
My dad's in his 80s. That's that generation. If you had a problem now, parents are sitting around talking about kids' problems. I mean, Jesus Christ, some of the things.
Even if there's not one.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I spoke to my mum about this. I went, spoke to your mum about that. But I'm from that era where you didn't really go to your parents, and if you did, it was like you're burdening them. And I felt like. I think that we've all got our own mental mindset, and to be honest, I've seen some people go to their parents or go to close ones, and when you have a problem, they're going to have your back, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're going to go, right, you need to do this. But sometimes that attitude, that advice, isn't the best advice because they love you, but they're not putting you in your place, as in, well, you did wrong there, Neen, or... Say for example, my mum and dad thought I was the best thing since sliced bread, and I went to, this person done me wrong, how dare they? But I'm not telling them the truth. In your head, if you've done something right, you can sleep easy at night. You done something wrong, you ain't gonna sleep. So when people make up certain things in their lives, that I've done this or I've done that, they go and get advice to give them a G up. That's sometimes not the best advice. So with everything in my life, I've dealt with it by myself because I'm the only person with the real answers.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does, but then that takes, for you to even say that takes a huge, strong mindset because when you've gone through really deep, tragic things, and you, like you just said, you've got the answers yourself, so you'll sort it out yourself. Yeah. That you still go through that depression bit and have to get up in the morning to get to the point where you go, right, that's it, right, I've got to move on now, I've got to, you know.
I think the thing with me was I was lucky in the sense of when I had epilepsy and I couldn't drink alcohol, and that was my big thing. I think nowadays when people get down, they'll pick up a wine glass or they'll do whatever they want to do. But I was just left with this whole deal with it, Nina. It's always been deal with it, Nina. So you've always had the clear head too. You haven't masked it with anything. No, never really masked it.
Masked it with love affairs, maybe.
Love affairs? What's that? What's one of them?
Masked with a one night stand.
No, I've actually never had a one night stand.
No,
if you've had, please let me know. Comment below. I've never been that type of person. I've always been in crappy relationships, and I've never really understood my self-worth. And I think that you ask me now what I'm worth. I'm worth. You couldn't put a price on my head. Right. That's my attitude now. Yeah. But you have to go through the dark to get to the light.
Now I'm fascinated. When did that actually first happen to you? An episode of epilepsy?
Right, okay. So I was getting ready for school, and I shared a bathroom with my brother Tiber at the time. Tiber's bedroom was right next to the bathroom, and obviously I'm like a 12-year-old girl getting ready for school, and got an older brother. We used to annoy him a little bit. I'm the baby sister, so I remember going into the bathroom, and now. You would do as a girl, you're going through puberty, you lock the door, don't you? Because you don't want your brother walking, he's right next to the bathroom. So, but this particular day, which I think is very strange, I never locked the bathroom door.
Right. So
I remember going into the bathroom, I remember we had a mirror there, and we had a big bowl sink that come out like that, and I'm standing there, And that's all I remember. And what happened was, I'd gone into a seizure.
Right.
And I'd fallen, cracked my head on the sink, because the bowl of sink, and I'd fallen down the side, and the bath was here, so the sink was here. And when I was seizuring so bad, because I had grand mal seizures, my arm was doing that on the bath. And my brother's gone, Nina, will you pack it in? Because he can do his bang, it's 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Will you pack it in? And I'm obviously not. And he got up, he opened up the door, and he's just seen me, biting my tongue, lying there. So I hate doing the actions, but that was, bless him, I feel more sorry for him than I do myself, to be fair. Because at that age, I mean, he was, what was he, 17?
Right.
And I remember he told me that he ran, Mum had a massive bedroom, and he had to walk down there, they had a walk-in wardrobe, walk through that to get into their bedroom, and he just, something's wrong with Nina, and they all just come running. And they were trying to get me to come round, and I think the seizure had probably calmed down by this point.
Right.
And my other brother Simon had come out of the bedroom, and there was an airing cupboard right there where I was lying, and there was like, Nina, Nina, and my brother got a pair of boxer shorts, bless him, and put it on his head, and was going, Nina, and he's looking at me going, Nina.
How old was your brother?
My brother at that time, I think he was 19,
Right.
and the other one was 17, and yeah.
God, they must have all been frightened though.
They were all
because they've never seen it.
Yeah, I remember opening my eyes, I remember seeing my brother, I can see it now. Seeing him with his pants on his head, trying to get him to
I don't know why the pants.
Why the boxer shorts? Like, come on. Could have funny out, I think. Boxing was the closest thing to him, but yeah, and then I was admitted into hospital for quite a while.
Did they say what brought it on?
Hereditary, it's in my family.
Is it really?
Yeah. So my cousins have got petit mal and epilepsy. One of my cousins got petit mal. My other cousin's got petit mal.
What is that?
So petit mal is mild seizures where you just fall.
Right.
I think the one in the middle is called midi mal, where you kind of fall. Oh, maybe I might be making this bit up because I'm not sure about the midi mal. And then there's grand mal, where you properly seizure, your eyes roll back, you can die.
I had a teacher that did that when I was in front of me as a child. I remember, I can see it to this day. Yeah, I can see it because it gave me such a fright.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and I think, and
for those that are watching,
Yeah.
But so when you've got this now and you're at school, how do you cope with that at school? Because I presume you don't know when it's going to come on.
Well, my mum, bless her, so this is what you call devoted. I'm not saying everyone's a devoted, but my mum is the best parent ever. She moved me out of my bedroom when I had a fold-down bed that was next to her bed, so I used to sleep in their room from the age of 12. And she used to put a blue lamp on. So the whole through all the way through the night, a blue lamp would be shining on me, so she could see me, just in case I wasn't breathing or anything like that.
Yeah.
So she literally took me round. I mean, she took me around the world. I went and saw Princess Di's acupuncturist. I went to some healing place. I went to Africa to a healing place. She took me everywhere to find a cure. Everywhere. And she had me doing some nutty crap. I'm not being funny. I went and saw this witch doctor in Gambia, and he said I'd bath myself at 12 o'clock every day in this gunk. Oh my God, my mum had been doing this for 2 months.
You did?
I swear.
You did do it?
I did it. 2 months I had to get a bikini and sit in a cold bath, shivering, every Sunday, 12 noon, bang, with chicken feathers and all, telling you.
Chicken feathers?
Chicken feathers and mud.
Did it work?
I don't know, well, probably scared the fucking epilepsy out of me. It probably thought, stop this, I'm leaving. Keep out this mud, it was a mud bath, yeah. She got back from Africa. I swear to God.
Now that is a parent. Isn't that a parent?
I'm not, yeah.
That is
she
incredible.
took me everywhere. She was Googling everything possible to find a cure. Bless her. I'm not being funny. We laugh about it now, but if you think back, you've got this daughter that just, I literally just fall. You've got to remember, I'd be sitting in the kitchen, and my mum would know before I'd even have a seizure.
Really?
She'd look at me and go,
what was the
sign?
sign?
Oh, I don't know what my mum would see, but I'd have a thing called an orb where your limbs will float out. There's one of them I can't do, but if my neck clicks around like a clock, and I can't do it now to this day. Do an impression, it clicks around like a clock. And my mum would just be sitting there and she'd go, catch her! That's all you could hear, so I'd go, catch her!
Oh my.
And then I'd wake up on the couch, Zimmer frame now, because when you have an epileptic seizure, it's 8 hours manual labour crammed into 1 minute. So all your bones and everything are aching, so you can't walk. So I'd wake up on the couch and I'd look around and think, where am I? And then all of a sudden it comes over like a heat wave of pain. And I'd just go, just scream the house.
So you'd only been out for about a minute?
3 minutes, 4 minutes,
4 minutes?
Yeah.
But then, like you said, it's like 8 hours of physical activity when you come round.
Yeah.
So, are you still having seizures?
No, touch wood.
So when was your last seizure then?
Last epileptic episode when I was 16, but I was admitted into hospital when I was 30, but they didn't put it down as an epileptic seizure.
Oh,
I had a seizure, but it wasn't an epileptic seizure.
It wasn't?
No.
Okay. And you've had nothing?
Nothing since, no. Since, yeah, on medication. It's all calmed down. It's a touch wood again.
Yeah.
We're all good.
Oh.
I can now drink alcohol, which is fantastic.
But she doesn't really like to often, of course. No. So I'm going to go to, now that we're talking about your family as well. So you sadly lost your brother.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us about that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy story, but he's my half-brother.
Right.
And we were ridiculously close in his latter years. I didn't even know he existed until I was 21 years old. But that's another story. But yeah, we got really, really close. And he was going through some issues, and he used to come around my house and go, "Sis, man, sis." He had a few demons within himself. He was a very angry man. He was, it's my dad's son. He was brought up in a black cultured family, but he's black himself, mixed race, but he predominantly colour, you wouldn't think he was mixed race. Right. I think the whole, racial identity was a big problem for him. He just had a lot of anger issues, and in his latter years he went through a divorce and, a separation, so should we say, and he started hanging around with the wrong crowd. He was a probation officer, one of the head of probation for, unfortunately, and this is another thing, for rape in London.
Right.
Yeah, so he'd like all the nonsense that he looked after, basically.
Did that affect him, being around, listening to all of that?
I have to ask him, you say to him, "Do you get a lot of counselling?" Yeah, obviously in case files and stuff like that. He was the first black screw in Brixton.
Oh my God.
He had 2 degrees. He was a very, very clever man.
Bright man.
Yeah, into stocks and shares. He was a really, 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 really educated guy. But
so would you ever have thought that he would have come to the demise that he did? Would you ever have thought? I
thought it was a hoax. I'll tell you exactly what happened. So, my brother ended up staying with me, lived with me, and someone said to me at one time, your brother's asked for heroin. I said, "What? Do you think my brother's asked for heroin?" So I barricaded us into a bedroom, and I took all the keys out the door, out the windows, and we were downstairs, and I slept in the same room as him. This went on for quite a while, and then he'd come round, he'd be cool, and he might have had a puff now and again, and then I remember getting a phone call from him, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. Now my brother was on a night out, and I had this phone, and I said to him saying, "What's he rung me for on a school night at 1 o'clock in the morning?" Didn't think anything of it. Now I wasn't talking to his wife and his kids because they'd had a bit of an argument, and I go around and see the kids now and again, but Paul had done his fair share of messing that up, but she was doing her own thing, I think. And I moved, and I didn't keep in contact every single day, and it wouldn't be strange if I didn't hear from him for 2 to 3 weeks.
Right.
It wasn't like an alert signal, but I would start thinking, I haven't spoken to my brother this month. Do you know what I mean? I've got stuff going on, I'm moving.
Yeah.
And I moved into my new apartment, and I got an email from his wife telling me my brother had committed suicide.
That's how she told you?
Come via email, yeah. And the day that he called me was the day that he died.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
When you read that, how?
I haven't read it. I've never read it.
Never have.
I just knew from the email, I could tell. It said bad news. And I knew from that moment that he'd gone. But then I thought to myself, my brother's a coward. He couldn't deal with a parking ticket. Do you know, he couldn't deal with anything. Right.
Are you angry at him?
No, I'm not angry at him. I just think that he didn't realise his own potential, and it's a fucking shame. Everything in life is solvable. Yeah. Everything in life, no matter how shitty you feel, man. And I knew I didn't know everything about my brother. I knew that he was going through stuff with his ex-wife. I knew that he'd asked for drugs. But it turned out that he got in with the wrong crowd, and they actually took a picture of him doing heroin and blackmailed him. Right.
And just couldn't cope with it.
And he got arrested with a bit of heroin on him, and he got nicked. And what happened was, he was living at this woman's house, was a friend of his, and he was worried he was going to lose his job. And he kept it from me because I'm totally anti-drugs. Right. That was a problem. Kept it all from me.
So did he keep everything inside? So that
he kept the drug thing inside. Yeah. And he got a phone call. It was on the answer phone, and horrific. He must have listened to it. Gone upstairs, hung himself the way he did, but he hung himself as he got upstairs like that. He hung himself in a very weird position. The woman of the house, the light didn't work in the hallway, so she's come in September, like it's getting dark, maybe 9 o'clock. Right. She's walked straight past Brother What you're standing there. She's unloading the shopping. She's gone into the lounge and said, Paul, there's a voice note for you here, or voicemail or whatever.
Right.
She's gone, Paul, and she's run up the landing, hit the light, and there he was hanging.
Oh.
And bless her, I spoke to her on the phone about it. You know, Jamaicans, obviously, the culture of hanging and suicide, I think they think that there's something wrong with the house. I don't know what the word is. So she had to move out of her house, bless her. Yeah, I spoke to her for quite a long time. But, yeah. I mean,
so these are like, I mean, something like that, and yet, what is it, the word that you use in the morning? Hope?
Hope. We all have to have, listen, it's the best word. If you ever wake up in the morning, when your feet hit the floor, you say, you might as well put whatever you want to put into context, whatever you want to be grateful your feet hit the floor, first and foremost, right? Grateful, because anything can happen during that night, you know what I mean? And then you just say, if you can't get through anything, you just don't. Hope gives us anything. It doesn't matter what the word is, just thinking, feeling that positivity of hope. It
has a resonance, the word hope, doesn't it? And even as you say it, it does give you a feeling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we were talking about seizures, and then you said, I noted that you said when you were 30 you had a seizure, but it wasn't an epileptic episode. Is that right? Did I hear you right?
Yeah.
So what was that?
That was. So the guy that I was with at the time, he was very possessive. Very possessive. If my mum would ring and he was in the bath, I'd have to go and get my phone, put it on speaker and sit by the bath and talk.
Right.
Anyone, it was very much. I do think this, and I'm going to make this statement before I say my story. I do think that people that commit domestic violence need a program. There isn't a program out there for people that commit domestic violence. There's a very thin line between love and hate. And I think that I just want to tell you a brief story before I lead on back to the epilepsy. I've been into a prison visiting hall and I've seen a man sit there who's beaten his wife up. The wife has come up to see him. They're back together, right? And I've seen the man throw a coffee in her face and storm off, right? He's in there for domestic violence. He will still commit that domestic violence, right? If a woman keeps going back, right? And that will keep domino affecting through his life. They need to give counselling. Like, talk to Frank. Why is there not anything for people that commit domestic violence? That's my big question, by the way. I just want to know, as a victim, not as someone who's ever committed it, as a victim. So so this guy was just very controlling. And on one particular day, I wanted to go and see my friend who lived probably at the end of the lane. And I said, look, can I go up there? No, you can't. I said, I want to go up there. You're not making me stop me. And I remember waiting for him to go to the toilet. I mean, to his girlfriend. He knew him. And I put my shit, I said, I am. And he cornered me round my bed. And I leapt over the bed. I just made a run for it. But you've got to remember, I've taken a series of beatings before.
Right.
One with the Henry Hoover pole. Yeah. But this one particular day, I'm not going to bore you with all the stuff that went on. He was very controlling. And I remember I lived in a really townhouse right at the top. And I just made a run for the front door.
But you would have known then, because you've taken beatings before, what would have happened.
The fear. Have you ever known that feeling? Have you ever been in that feeling when you're a kid and you think something's underneath the bed?
Yeah.
That fear. Times that by 100, you're not even close to what you feel when you're in a domestic violence, and you know something's going to happen.
And you're living like that every day. Every day.
Every day. I mean, there'd be swings and don't get me wrong, it wasn't every day, but every day, if he wasn't in a happy mood, if you didn't cook something right, or if it wasn't, and it's the whole thing of the guilt after. Like when he goes, I'm sorry, babe, I'm sorry, and you see them cry, and you think, oh my God, I've done something wrong here. It's my fault. Forget the
really?
Oh, you do? Yeah, mate. You feel it's me, and even now, I think, oh, maybe maybe I shouldn't have pushed to go and see Sam. There's an underlying guilt.
Excuse.
Yeah. It's an underlying feeling of guilty, and that's the point. So, and if you ask anyone that's in a domestic violence relationship, you feel that guilt. That's the reason why it takes you so long to get out.
Yeah.
It's the mental mind games. I'm sorry I didn't do it. And the crying as well. When you see someone you love and care about crying, you feel bad yourself. But yeah, this one day he chased me down the stairs, and if I shut my eyes, I can actually hear his footsteps behind me. It's like, imagine that woman's been running a horror film. They're trying to get away from that monster. That was me. I remember grabbing down the stairs. I think, I'm going to make it. Because as soon as I got around the corner, we'd had a bit of an argument, and as soon as I got around the corner, I knew I was going to be all right.
Right.
So I came down the main stairs. He's right behind me, and we had concrete steps. And there was a bit of a run, as soon as he got to that platform, he's pivoting, he's got hold of me, he's got my car keys.
Right.
So he's gone, get in, car now. And I said, no. And he said, get in the car. But I could see all the curtains twitching, so I'm thinking, oh God, all the neighbours are going to watch me here, you know what I mean? So I thought, get in the car now. So I got in the car, and you're saying you and you're me, and he's grabbing up the bottom like this, he's screaming at me, going, you try and leave me. He's screaming in my face, like literally spitting and screaming, you're trying to leave me. And I'm going, I'm not. And I actually turned around and said to him, what's he's got, you know, it's like a Chinese burn? Yeah. It was like a Chinese burn, and I just went, and this is the guilt trip. This is the one that I had to live with for a while. I actually said to him, will you get off of me? You're hurting me. That's exactly what I said.
Right.
And then he went, headbutt, and just cracked my nose straight down there.
Oh my.
Yeah,
I can see it.
Yeah.
Good.
And then, that was pretty...
That was painful, wasn't it?
And I actually screamed and nothing came out. You know, when I don't know if you've ever been in that situation where you scream and actually nothing comes out.
Shock.
Yeah, it's like, no air comes out, but no noise. And he drove me round the corner, parked up, and told me to calm down, I'll be all right, but you don't need to go to hospital. He kept telling me I didn't need to go to hospital. I remember him saying that.
Was he frightened by them?
He was frightened by them because
when he'd seen what he'd done.
He didn't see what he'd done. I think he heard, because I heard it.
Right.
Yeah, he heard the crack. So he's just telling me to calm down, and then I think it was next day, I came downstairs, usual thing, but my epilepsy is sleep deprivation, so I will only seizure in the first hour of when I wake up.
Right.
Well, this was happening 4 hours after, and I walked into my kitchen, and I never had anything like it. It was a heat wave just went over me. Thought of it, the deck. And my cousin Barry lived with me at the time, and he was helping me out with the boxing. His father was his father was murdered by one of his mates in South London, and this kid didn't really have a good upbringing, so he was living with me.
Right.
And Barry found me, and I'd bitten that much through my tongue, it was swollen, so this was a complete dent, like a crevice. So my whole tongue was swollen, apart from where I'd bitten through it.
Right.
I couldn't speak for about 5 days. Bliss for everybody else, but yeah.
Because you're lucky that you could have swallowed your tongue.
Yeah, I bit straight.
Yeah.
I bit straight through it. Not straight through it, but near enough. And I remember waking up in Farnborough Hospital. And he was standing there. My mum and dad, everyone was standing there, and everyone just thought I had a seizure.
Oh. And did you say anything, or were you in fear so that you couldn't say to your parents? Actually, it wasn't.
My dad.
Did you let them believe?
I let them believe it was a seizure, but the only people that didn't know it was a seizure was my doctors.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So you've had a lot of domestic.
I've been in 3, so they're different circumstances. They're all different. It's so weird. They're all different. This particular person loved me unconditionally and didn't want to let me go, so he wanted to cage a bird. That's how that felt. I had another relationship where the guy would I didn't know much about drugs, he'd get out of his nut and think it was hilarious just to torment me.
Right.
Like, kick me out of bed, and I've got cuts where I fell onto like the bulb that was on the floor and thought shit, well, that was funny. You know, that ain't funny, mate.
So completely different.
Completely different. Yeah,
and what about the other one then?
Oh, that was another one that. Oh God. I think he just generally just didn't like me. He just generally didn't like me. I think, that was just, he just generally didn't like me for a bloody fruit bowl in my head. Yeah, and then was calling me a C-U-N-T. Who wrote that? Do you think it's funny? Yeah.
So
this goes on, but yeah. And we're laughing about it because what can you do? What can you do? But
so do you forgive your last partner?
I forgive everybody.
All of them?
All of them.
Is that because you can't live like that, you can't move on if you don't forgive, or it's just who you are?
Every person, this is the most correct, and if anyone can take anything from what I'm saying to you, it will help you as a person. When you hold a grudge, you become like Quasimodo. It becomes this big ump on your back, and you're going to get exactly that, the ump, right? Every night, I am quite a religious person, I'm a spiritualist, I say my prayers, and I ask and pray that the people that have done me wrong, pray for them.
Really?
I always do it. Anyone that's done me wrong, Lord, pray for them. And not only am I not trying to be a martyr, but it's helping me lift that burden of, what should I say, what would you call it, animosity or anger towards them. Because I'm just going to walk around being an angry person. I don't want to be an angry person. I want to be able to be Nina and fly like a phoenix, because I've risen more times than anyone I've ever known. But I want to be able to do that, and to be able to do that, I have to forgive, and I have to send good energy to move on myself.
Yeah, and you know, it's really interesting. It's like, I don't know if you've ever tried swimming and had a bad thought, you start to sink. You actually physically start to sink, when you're swimming. Oh yes, so we'll do my story. Yeah,
we'll do swimming together, and you see us. It's like thinking, and you're watching me go right down to the bottom.
I start thinking about my ex-husband, and I'm drowning by that point on the floor. But you do. But it's that whole thing, isn't it, of being like a magnet. So whatever, because you know we're a little field around us. You know, whatever we give out, we're going to get back. We get the same level back, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, people say to me, karma. I'm not convinced on karma, but I do believe if you carry on being negative, something negative is going to happen to you.
Yeah, and there is a heaviness with it.
Yeah.
And it's harder to walk through life being bitter and running it through your head every 5 minutes, isn't it?
100%. You've got to. Listen, you can't hold grudges. If anyone's done you wrong, listen, it's very, very hard to let it go. Try it every single day. If you've got someone out there that you don't like, maybe could have been take minor, could have major. Try that every single day. Just say, put it up to the universe. Good luck to you. Even if you're not spiritual, go, good luck to you. Good luck, and mean it though. Don't just say, oh yeah, good luck to you, mate.
Yeah.
Mean it. That's how I've gotten on with my life, and that relieves. I don't sit there holding grudges against anybody.
So every time that you've had to start again because of circumstances, right? You start it at that point of, right, well, I'm moving on, and I'm not taking that shit that I've just gone through with me, and I'm starting afresh. But that, I mean, how do you keep starting again?
What can you do? You either faced with living an existence or being part of something great. You can either just float on your couch and just be that person that sits on social media and whines about stuff and all that and the other, right? And oh my God, I fucking hate her, fuck him, sorry, excuse my French, I'm just getting off on one. Or you can actually get off your arse and do something. We all play a role in life. All of us do. It's our purpose to find that role. And you're never going to find that role on your couch.
And I have to say, Nina on Facebook does the best rants. If you want entertainment, but with intelligence behind it, so it does make sense what she's saying. I tell you, go on Facebook. She's bloody brilliant. Oh, you are brilliant, I have to say. So,
I just know the thing is, I know a lot of people that do these chats and stuff like that. The one thing, I'm not bigging myself up, they are genuine rants. I don't sit there and plan what I'm going to say. I don't sit there going, right, write that down and I'm going to talk about that. I'll see something that sparks me, I go, right, bosh. And I don't bother getting dressed up, I'll just say it, I've got to shout, I'm like, right, I'm happy about this. This is, Boris is, one of them people, do you know what I mean? I don't plan it, so they are a little bit raw.
I love your knife one.
Oh.
That was a rant. Do you want to tell us about what sparked that rant?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm about anti-knife crime anyway. My cousin Barry was murdered when I was 10 years old, and I'll never forget that day. My dad got the phone call. Good Friday, I remember being outside, I remember standing at the top of the stairs, and my dad was screaming. So your dad's upset like that, and I didn't understand the whole thing. He'd been murdered. I didn't understand it at 10. And that year prior, my dad was 50, and we'd had a massive party, and he said to my dad, Uncle Bill, what are you doing with these ghettos? And I'm quite from a well-to-do family, believe it or not. You can actually Google it. I went to private school. And he said, what are you doing with these ghettos, Uncle Bill? And my dad went, oh no, you want to take them home? He said, yeah. So he's got in the thingy, I'm 10 years old, my cousin Barry, he's a proper joker. He just like to have a ghetto fight. Now I'm 10 years old, private school girl, timid, watching them all have this massive ghetto fight. I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread. He's brilliant, he's God, my cousin, right? And then, that was in the May, and then the year later he died on Good Friday. He was brutally murdered by a man called Mark Privet. I remember my dad taking a phone call, so, yeah.
Why did Mark Privet murder him then?
Yeah, they were actually friends. They actually knew each other.
Right. How old was Mark then?
I don't know how old he was at the time. They were all friends, and he felt that he mugged my cousin off or something like that, and wrote a fucking list of people, excuse my French. And I won't go into the story because I know my cousin might be watching this, but it was horrific. I've never heard anything like it in my life. And it was all over tabloids. I remember my Uncle John they knocked on my uncle's door, and my Uncle John turned around, it was the uncle, not his dad, was telling the newspapers to F off and leave us alone. So, yeah, so the knife crime thing is a massive thing for me. And that boy Barry, when I had my seizure, and I said to my cousin Barry, that's his dad.
Ah, right.
So I've seen all that anti-knife crime stuff go on.
So is that why?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a big thing for me. You know, like I've actually visualised. I've seen it's horrible. And for that girl, right? I mean, that girl to put out on her social media, right? I just want to say, right, a man. This is what this person said. I want a man. It's a lifestyle choice to carry a knife. I don't want to be the man that gets stabbed up every weekend, right? I want a man to protect me. Men should be carrying knives. Are you mad? Go and sit down and talk to, right? If you watch the video, go and sit down and talk to a family, right, that's lost someone, right? She, honest to God, the woman like, who had big talents, like our X-Men, were a yardie, want to be road taught. That is not inspiring. And she was trying to put it out to guys that I support you. Right? Well, the rest of the world thinks you're an absolute idiot. Think she, honest to God, thought she was going to get loads of people DMing her going, yeah, girl, like, we know what you're talking about. You know what you're talking about, like, on road. No, you're a dickhead. You thought you were going to get loads of sausages at you. No, and as I said, we all think you're in sausage for saying what you said. She, honest to God, you could tell that the girl had in a baseball cap filter. And it really pissed me off. So what I did was I did a rant about it.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
And I put it up and I said, do you want to, if anyone, I'm not into fight, but if you want to slap somebody, these types of people, these are the type of people, the parents need to get hold of them and go, what the hell are you doing? I hope and pray she watched my video. I hope and pray she did. And I'll tell you what, I hope you do watch the video and I hope you come down to my anti-knife campaign and put a t-shirt on. Then people might be proud of you for actually doing something brave and going, actually what I said, I retract that. But you put it out there, now you need to retract it, girl, because it's floating around the internet. Unbelievable next generation, mate. Sorry, I got a little bit passionate. Do you know something? No,
but see, that's what I like about your rants, because when I say our rants are intelligent and there's a lot behind them, it comes with experience again. Because when you're ranting, you have that experience to carry that rant through. Whereas a lot of people just go on social media to get, you look at me, he's a filter, and you know, and all the rest of it. But in actual fact, what you're talking about, you don't take a topic that's fashionable, so you can jump on it, you can virtue signal for the rest of us and get yourself some likes. It's because it means something to you. And that is why they're so bloody brilliant, because you know, I can feel your passion. You know, through my computer.
I know. Another situation. Many a story. Trust me. My ex-husband got stabbed in front of me. My first husband got stabbed up in front of me, and that was the most scariest situation on the planet at that particular time in my life.
Could you want to?
Well, he just got. It was at my nightclub, and he got into an argument which he shouldn't have got into because I had doorman.
Right.
And he tried to be, all right, mate, you know, calm it down. The geezer just telling me, stabbed him up. And I remember I had these doors like that in my nightclub, and I remember the girl screaming that worked behind the kiosk where you take the money, and I could hear her screaming in the doors. And I remember he had a stripy shirt on, and the doors like that, and all I remember him just seeing the doors, and he just slid down the wall. And believe it or not, Barry's sister, the one that got murdered, she was working behind the bar at the time, and they picked him up and they moved him out of the way because the guy was still outside patrolling with the knife. And
so at what point with your husband, what was he like? Was he
started to go unconscious,
Right.
So Tracy, which is Barry, my cousin's sister, she actually saved his life. She said, Nina, I'm worried about this one here, because it's not bleeding out. This one's bleeding out. That means internal bleeding. So she put his arm in the air or something, and then she was slapping him. Just kept slapping him.
Keeping him awake. Keeping him awake,
yeah. And the ambulance wouldn't come on. We were there, I swear to God, we were there for 15 minutes. This is what I'm saying. People don't understand about ambulances. The ambulance can't arrive to a crime scene unless the police are present with a knife. Do you know that? So the police have to be there first, then the ambulance arrives, because it has to be safe. So we could see the ambulance cross the bridge. The ambulance couldn't come to us because the police weren't present. And we lived in Lewisham, South London. We were around that area.
So basically, you could die. I wonder how many have died because of...
Yeah, exactly my point. Exactly my point. So, and I just went, fuck it. I jumped in the back of the car. I was shitting myself because I thought this guy was outside still. I had to go to the back, drive the car around, and I had to mount it. I remember mounting it on the curb, and they run him over into the back of my car. The blood was everywhere, and I remember just thinking, I'm going to put my foot down and just get to the Lewisham Hospital. Then all of a sudden, we saw the blue lights coming over. They put him in there, stripping it, ripping, like cutting all his clothes out. He'd gone. He'd gone grey.
Did you think you were going to lose him?
I thought I lost him. And then it was luckily a millimetre from, was it his liver or something like that? He was all right. He was stable. But then I went home, obviously worried about him. I didn't leave until I knew he was okay, and I went home with the fear that the man was coming to stab me. you know, Jesus Christ.
So the last thing you're going to listen to is some ridiculous nonsense on a social media to get some likes and to get a date.
Yeah, 150 billion%. I know about enough. So when these girls come up with stuff, and I've seen these things and witnessed all these things, and you know what I mean. And I've seen kids. I've seen a 14-year-old girl holding a butterfly knife. I had to put that in my area, and I've told her. I've said to her, "What are you doing that?" And I've confronted her. Blatantly confronted her.
And what has she said?
I just said, "What are you going to do with that? Honest to God, what are you going to do with it? You know, you're either going to use it or put it away. Don't be stupid. You want to put it out on me, don't be stupid. You know, when you start giving it the stats of, you're looking at X, Y, Z going in prison, right? This is what's going to happen. When people are afraid to go, maybe not. I mean, 14-year-old girl, we're talking when I was 32.
And have you noticed we're not hearing about anything in the newspapers about it at the moment? It's like, you know, before it was
Google Barry Weed and it'll come up, back in, it was, so it'd be 32 years ago, right? That was out there. Now you look, they wanted to put out that the Black Lives Matter girl got shot. Why have you got to bring out Black Lives Matter? A poor girl got shot. Her name should have been any more than enough, not a Black Lives Matter activist. This is what the media does to make you read papers. And the first thing they put out was, it was a Black Lives Matter activist got shot, and it made you lead you to believe, right, that it was because of Black Lives Matter. Then, no, came out later, it had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter.
It's too late, you see, it's too late then, because it's in the psyche. Once it goes out, and they know that, because this is how they run the papers.
Of course they did, but they had to backtrack on it, but they led you to believe for at least 12 hours that it was something to do with Black Lives Matter. What about, the most important thing in this life, people, you have, is your name. Stand tall, own it, you are unique like a fingerprint. Don't let it, yes, I'm Nina the boxing promoter, but let me tell you something. I ran Nina Cranstoun down your throat the more I do the boxing promoter. I am proud of who I am, but don't let anyone put a label on you, right? That poor girl got shot and I haven't heard anything about it since. You know, I hope she's all right.
Yeah, I haven't actually, because there was a big, because the MPs were taking over. I want you to tell us why you're raising money and for what you're raising money for. And it's the 24th of July.
24th of July. We've all got to be aware of what's going on in our community. And when I said this to my group of girls, which I love by the way, all my group of girls, Michelle, Lana, Liza, trying to bigger shout, Kerry Ann, Billy, all you girls in the group, all doing an amazing job. Like Matt, you're not a girl, sorry. You do actually, Matt.
You are now, Matt.
What I said about doing why don't we do something? And she said, yeah, Lana said, we'll do like a fundraiser. I said, yeah, brilliant idea. And she went, because it's getting really bad. I said, why? She went, have you heard about Levi Morrison? I went, no. Now, this story should be told to a lot of kids. Because I can help you with getting off the streets, but this is the one thing I can't help with. And this is where parenting comes in massively, right? Levi had an argument with a 19-year-old boy. Levi was 17 years old, right? 17 years old. He had an argument with this other geezer, 19. The geezer's gone home, told his mum's got him in the car with another kid. And I think she packed the kids up in the car, don't remember, but she's 36 years old, right? She drove the 19-year-old boy to Levi, the mum, and they butchered him with a machete, round the corner in Sydenham.
We haven't heard anything. Nothing. That's a disgrace.
That was in April.
That's an absolute disgrace.
That was in April. Google Levi. I'm not sure about the 100% of the story, but she was involved. She was 36. She drove him to this scene, and he got done, and she's got done as well. I mean, you couldn't.
We should be screaming about this.
We should, exactly.
Shouldn't we?
This is what I'm saying. Look at parenting. I'm not being funny, but we are a blessed nation. I've lived in America. I've seen the welfare system. I've seen the poverty. I've seen poverty in South Africa. You want to compare it where we are now? Please, stop it. Stop it. You need to just grow a pair, become adults, look after your own. Don't let your kids wander off and do their own thing, or you want to be a cool mum down with the cool kids, yeah? Like talking about the TV, because that's what that woman did. She was trying to be a friend, not a mum.
Yeah, we don't want friends, we want parents.
Yeah, we want strict parenting.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Single mums, I know it's hard. Single dads, I know it's hard. But this is where boxing falls underneath that certain category. The boys look up to their trainers as mentors. This is what we're trying to, we provide friendship,
like
family,
then,
exactly, father figures, all these kind of things. Put your energy into something else, right? Don't keep watching, you know, adulthood and kid out, all these movies, because you know what? They're movies for a reason, right? I know it gets you, they relate to me, crap, right? But you're not looking outside the box. You're looking at other people and what's going on in your estate. Try and be bigger than your estate. Try and be bigger than your road, right? Be that unique person, because I was that unique person. Yeah, but I was that unique person. I went against everything anyone said I could do. And look at me now. If I can do it, boys, lads, girls, you can do it. Just don't fall into that category.
So really what you're doing is you're providing not just a focus, right, but a family.
Yeah.
It is, and it's a whole group of people together, you know, and I have to say, we should be screaming about this. This should be in the newspapers, and it shouldn't be. And thank God for people like yourself, Nina, raising money, raising awareness, and putting on these events to bring these young people together and creating this family environment. But it really shouldn't be for you. So that is a sign of our times where we are let down because we should be screaming and shouting. It doesn't really matter what colour you are. We should all be coming together as mums and dads, because we should all be frightened. Because I tell you something, if you think it's not coming to your door,
it will.
It's
spreading. It's spreading, and you wouldn't believe. And I'm not being funny. I can only speak from my hometown, which is London. Sadiq Khan. My God, you know, I don't even know how you got back in. Right, I don't know how you got back in, mate. But I please put me in the direction of the people that actually voted for you. I would love to meet them and ask them, why did you vote for this man? You've done nothing. You don't love England. You don't love our country, right? You said about someone's mate of yours, or your son's mate got knife. Well, if your son's mate, why are you not doing anything about it?
Well, because he's too busy with his cycling lanes. So, Nina, I'm going to have to wrap it up.
No, that's
the man behind the camera's going like this.
Liam!
It's nothing to do with
love
me.
you, Liam.
So
I'm sorry,
rude.
I am such a rambler as well. I do apologise. I want to thank Yvette, and I want to thank Liam for actually having me today. It was
Do you
really,
know
really
what?
nice.
You've made it really easy. You've been a fabulous guest. Thank you so much.
And you've been great listening to me. They both have been great. I'm taking the onus off Liam as well. They're both listening to me ramble on. And thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.
To be honest, you've made it really easy. I say it's been fun. We have gone through some very dark rabbit holes here and come out the other side. But I think you'll all agree, energy, positivity, and as Nina says, that word hope to get her up in the morning is what it's all about.
Yeah, no, if you've got any questions you want to ask me, if you're going through any problems yourself and you want to just ask away, maybe, you know, is there a solution to, or how did you get out of this, or anything you want to ask me, really, I'm here. Could be with the lovely Yvette. Liam's behind the camera. We're going to smash this out, and we're going to send a load of hope and positivity to people.
Fabulous. So, any questions, just write them down below, and I'm also going to put some links to Nina's work and also her GoFundMe page. All right, so hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you soon.
Bye. Peace out.